It's time for another First Drives with Fred, and today I'm driving a Jeep. Another Jeep? Yes, but this Jeep's a little bit different. This is a Jeep 4xe Wrangler. I have driven 4xe Wranglers in the past, but this one has some cool upgrades from Jeep Performance Parts, JPP, and I'm gonna take it for a little spin and tell you what I think. Let's go for a ride. It's electric. Boogie woogie woogie. Okay, before we take this thing for a spin, let's go over some of the things that are on the Jeep from JPP. JPP is Jeep Performance Parts, which is kind of like the Jeep brand of Mopar. The Jeep wing, I guess, of Mopar. This has a 2-inch suspension lift, which has new coils, some new suspension links, and new shocks. The shocks are from Bilstein Remote Reservoir. They used to be Fox, but then now it's Bilstein. I don't know why. Why did they switch? In addition to the 2-inch suspension lift, it has 35-inch BFG tires, all-terrains KO2s, I believe, and they are on the JPP beadlock capable 17-inch wheels. I have those same wheels on my Noobsock JL, and I actually have them set up as beadlocks, and I really dig them. Big beefy hardware, great wheel, super solid. If you order the wheel, you have to also order the beadlock ring separately. It doesn't come with it, I don't believe. This one's actually set up with like kind of a street lock, but you can get the beadlock ring and convert it. And you basically move the tire from inside the bead to the outside of the bead and then bolt the beadlock ring on. In addition to the beadlock wheels and bigger tires, there's also a beefed up rear tire mount, which is adjusted so that you can run a bigger tire. And then steel bumpers with winch on the front. And what I really dig on that front bumper is there's like a tube that comes up and it has an off-road light integrated into it. Not the brightest off-road light. I've actually used much brighter off-road lights from other companies, but I really like the integration of the light into the bumper, into the tube. It's nice and clean. It looks good. What else does this have? Oh, I think it has like floor mats. There's supposed to be, I think there's a kit to replace the front Freedom panels and put a soft top up here, just a soft windjammer setup in like the front of the hard top so that you can have like easy to open access to the sky, but then you can also put the hard top in. All right. Enough about the upgraded parts. Let's take this thing for a little spin. It's been charging on 110 volts for over 12 hours. So it should be 100% charge, which says it has 26 miles of charge. The 2024 Wrangler has a few changes, not a lot of changes. It has a different grille, which is shorter, though it's really the same size. It just has like a black insert on the bottom, and then the grill part of it is shorter. I really like the styling of it. I think it's cool, kind of a little bit sportier. I know some other Jeep fanatics who I have talked to about it, David Tracy and Rick Payway, two other Jeep fans, and they do not like it. They like the older, taller grill style. The Jeep has has 3 buttons on the left side of the steering wheel: hybrid, electric, and e-save. From the way I understand it, if you push hybrid, it'll switch back and forth between gas and electric as it sees fit. E-save will just protect the battery, only run off of gas, from what I understand. And then electric is electric, which just saves fuel for later. It's funny because if you click the e-save, it says that it saves battery power for later. I'm going to put it on electric because I don't usually drive an electric vehicle. And then I'm going to come in here, I'm going to reset the trip information. The odometer says I have 24 miles of battery charge right now, and we are zeroed out, and we're going to see how much fuel economy we get and how far we can go before the charge runs out, and if it stays on battery the whole time. I'm not opposed to electric vehicles. I don't drive them that much. I feel like a lot of the automotive media loves electric vehicles and is kind of like swears by them. I, on the other hand, think they're okay. Maybe not the greatest thing ever. I mean, I guess this is my thoughts on electric vehicles. I think they're cool. I feel like there's a lot of companies that are jumping into the electric pond, the electric pool, before it's 100% ready. It'd be like diving into the swimming pool and only having like a foot of water in it. Which, if enough people get in the electric swimming pool, people are going to be like, hey, we need more water in it. And there'll be more technology and more infrastructure for the electric vehicles. I don't know that I would go out and buy an electric vehicle right now, though there's been like amazing tax rebates and incentives to buy an electric vehicle, or in this case, an electric hybrid, gas electric hybrid. In fact, somebody told me once that the 4xe is the most economical way, the cheapest way to get into a Rubicon. I don't know if that's still true. I haven't looked at all the prices of all the different Rubicons, but when it came to having all the incentives and the discounts, it was supposedly one of the best ways to get into a Rubicon, which will then get you lockers and the low transfer case and the disconnectable sway bar. So right now we're running down this back road. The trip odometer says we've gone 1.3 miles. The battery range has already dropped to 22 miles. Now, the battery range on this one started out at saying it had 26 miles, then it dropped to 24, now it's at 22, and in my research it said that the Jeep will only go 21 miles on a battery charge. I don't really know that any of that matters because you have a gas hybrid, and the gas engine, the 4-cylinder, will kick in at any time and make up for if your battery dies. I think it's just a question of how much battery mileage do you really get. And I think that the hybrid is the way to go. Like, I don't think the full electric vehicles are the way to go. Some people love them, but for me, I want to be able to hop in the vehicle and go exploring, and having the option of gas or electric is kind of neat. But I don't like the idea of being strapped just to electric because, well, for one, you got to go sit somewhere and charge for either 2 hours. I guess it's 2.4 hours to get 100% charge out of a 220 volt system, or 12 hours to get 100% charge with a 110 volt system. In case you don't understand that, 220 is like what you run a welder off of, and 110 is what you run most of your household appliances off of. This Jeep came with a charging system for 110, so I plugged it in and it sat overnight, and it gave me a 26 or 24 mile range based on the little trip odometer, or not trip odometer, the distance, the range indicator, I guess is what it's called. So we are now at 19 miles on the range indicator, and the trip odometer, which I reset, says we have gone 3.3 miles. So a little bit wonky there as far as like how far do you really get on a battery versus how far do you get in reality. So far the tachometer has not moved, and it is sitting at 0, telling me that we're just running on electric power. So the other thing about the 4xe is the battery system is supposedly underneath the back seat of the Jeep. So it's not underneath where it's going to get damaged off-road, but it is actually inside the passenger compartment. I think it's inside, or else the floor is modified to fit it under the body, but I think it's actually inside the body of the Jeep. The vehicle has, from what I understand, 2 motors. There's a motor that is actually a part of the engine. Now, to get the wording right, motor is run by electric, engine run by gasoline. So if you hear someone say, I've got a big motor in my vehicle, they're actually technically wrong from what I understand. Motor should be an electric motor, unless they have a big electric motor in their vehicle. So the way the 4xe works is there's an electric motor integrated into the gas engine. And then there's another electric motor integrated into the automatic transmission. And this is the 8-speed automatic transmission, which is, I believe, the same as in all the Wrangler automatics, but it has an integration for an electric motor. And when you are in electric mode, it runs the power through, I believe, just the one in the transmission. The other thing that it has is regenerative braking, so that when you are off the gas, the motor somehow reversing the system and charging power back to the battery. So right now we've gone 15 miles and the odometer says 5.7 miles. So we've actually gone 5.7 miles, but we're down to a 15-mile range on the battery system, which is kind of on par. The information that I found says that the Jeep will go 21 miles. Why do they only make the gas-electric hybrid with the 2-cylinder or the 2-liter 4-cylinder? I think there should be a Jeep with a diesel-electric hybrid. Then you would have the best of both worlds. You would have the electric motor for commuting, and you'd have the diesel motor for long-distance exploring, and you would probably have the most efficient, the longest range Jeep available, but for some reason they don't do that. In fact, they've actually discontinued the diesel in the Wrangler, and I hear they're probably going to discontinue it in the Gladiator as well, which is pretty unfortunate, because I've heard that that diesel engine is the best engine ever put in a Jeep. Now, that being said, I don't have one. I've driven one and I like them, but I do not have one. And I think there's kind of a divide between people that like electric and people that like diesel, and which is kind of silly, because I feel like they should be, the two should be collaborating together instead of being divided on this topic. We're now at 7 miles on our trip odometer and down to 14 miles of range on our battery. One of the things that I really like about the 4xe is how quiet it is. I think there's a time in your life where you really want a loud, rowdy Jeep, and you want loud speakers and loud music when you're off-roading. And then there's a different time in your life where you're like, I don't want any of that garbage. I just want to go four-wheeling. And I think the 4xe is great for the off-roader that isn't looking for a bunch of noise when they're off-roading. They just want to get out and go exploring and do some off-roading. The times that I have had the vehicle off-road, I don't know that the electric portion of the 4xe was really a benefit. Some people say it is because of the instant torque. I think the benefit is that it's quiet, but not so much that the instant torque proves anything, because you're also having the instant extra 1,000 pounds of battery that you have to haul around. So it's kind of a catch-22. You think that you're getting ahead with the battery torque, but you're not necessarily getting ahead because you also have this extra weight to haul around. As far as the JPP parts, I like the 35-inch tall tires on the Wrangler. I feel like it's kind of the size that they should come with. The suspension rides good. It's currently aired up to about 30-some PSI, which is probably a little bit more than I would air up a daily driver Jeep. Though, if you're looking for fuel economy, it does make sense to run a higher tire pressure. I have made it just past halfway on this battery charge. I am down now to 11 miles of range, and we have gone 9.6 miles, which technically is right there around the 21-mile mark that they claim. Now, I'm going to get on the highway here, so let's see how well this thing accelerates. Oh, look at that. I am in electric mode, but when I smash the throttle, the engine kicks on. In fact, the tachometer just fired up, and that tells me that the engine has kicked on. So why did it not let me get on the highway and accelerate up to speed? Ooh, but now it's back off. So I wanted to get on the highway quickly, so I smashed the gas, and now it's back on. This is weird. I'm set to electric mode, but I want the vehicle to accelerate quickly, and it won't stay in electric mode. It will switch over to hybrid mode, where it uses gasoline or some sort of gas-electric combination. In fact, every time I smash the throttle for high-speed acceleration, it goes to gas, and then when I get off the throttle, it drops and the engine shuts off. It's almost like it's telling me that the instantaneous torque that the electric motor is known for is not sufficient for when I want instantaneous torque for acceleration. That's strange. All right, we're now down to 9 miles of range, and I'm coming into a stop here. We're going to try this again. We're going to see if we can accelerate, and I'm going to see if we can accelerate and keep it on electric. 23, 25, 27, 20, 30 miles an hour. Still an electric. We're definitely not, like, barely up to highway speed. Come on now. Oh. So I was about at the end of the on-ramp at 40 miles an hour, so I tried to give it some more gas, and it jumped up to 64 miles an hour, but it needed the gas engine to do that. And then it's like toggling back and forth between gas and electric. Like, the faster I want the vehicle to go, the quicker I want the vehicle to go fast, the more it relies on gas than electric. Very confusing. We are now at 8 miles of range, and we have gone 12.4 miles. So you were right there in the range for electric, but we're also now toggling back and forth between gas and electric. So in fact, our range should kind of be extended, because the battery range should stay consistent, because we're using gas and not just battery. Or maybe we're using gas instead of battery. Or maybe we're using gas and battery. I'm going to get off the highway and turn around and go back the other way and see if I can get it to stay on electric for the complete 8 miles. Rolling to a stop. Again, this would be where the regenerative braking would come in, and it should go back and, like, basically generate power that goes back into the battery. But it doesn't seem to do enough that it adds mileage back to the range. I wonder how far you really have to, how long it would really take to recharge the battery. Also, if you stop the vehicle, so it's in electric mode and you are in drive, you can hear things running. I don't know if this is coming through on the microphone. I think it's actually the motor spinning things in the transmission, because if you go to park, it shuts off, and then if you go to drive, you can hear these things spinning. The vehicle's not moving, but you can hear, like, the gears spinning. So I'm assuming that the motor is spinning something in the transmission, maybe the torque converter or the torque computer torque, electro torque converter, and then when you give it throttle, it starts running it. But I don't really understand what is going on or what that noise is, but there is kind of a noise that runs through the vehicle. All right, we just got back on the highway, 57 miles an hour, still in electric mode, 7 miles of range, and we've gone 14 miles. I think that we're going to probably come in right at that. Man, why does it feel like we're going so slow? It says it's almost like we're slowing down. I'm in electric mode, and then the gas kicks on. I was in electric mode doing 55 miles an hour, and the vehicle started saying it was going slower. And in fact, this is weird. It's like when it's in electric only mode, it starts slowing down. And if I give it gas, the engine kicks on. We'll get back up to speed, but we're obviously not doing that on electric. Very confusing. I guess what I'm saying is, like, if I want the thing to just run on electric and I have the electric button pushed and the electric light is on and now it's on electric. I wonder if there's a certain percentage of battery where it starts saying, yeah, even though you want electric, we're not going to give you electric. Like, to me, I think you wanted to run the electric all the way down, and then you would have then you would just go to gas. All right, so this is what's happening. If I drive on the highway, and I want to just kind of cruise, the vehicle goes to electric and then starts slowing down. And if I want to kind of like keep cruising and I give it a little bit of gas, then the engine kicks on and it accelerates. It's like I wanted to just sit at 65 on electric. I guess if I try cruise control, set. All right, cruise control is set to 65. And then the gas engine kicks on. Why won't it cruise in electric? Why does it need to cruise in gas? Oh, and now electric mode temporarily unavailable. We are at 17%, going 65 miles an hour, and it is no longer electric. Let me push the electric button again. Electric mode saves fuel for later use. Cool, that's what we want. Save our fuel. Cruise control set to 65, but they gas motor's back on, electric mode disabled. So I think if I'm looking at all the gauges, trying to figure out what it's doing, it's very confusing. But if I just drive it, don't look at the odometer or the battery gauge and the mileage gauge, then it just drives like a normal Jeep. Other than sometimes it's quiet and sometimes it's not. I guess what I'm saying is, if you only commute, let's say 10 miles, and if you're one of those lucky few who your boss lets you charge your electric vehicle at work, which there are people that I know that get to do that. They go to work and they can plug in their car and charge it for their drive home. Then I think the 4xe is not a terrible option. If you are, however, somebody that wants to get in and drive like 100 miles or go exploring, I don't know. I mean, I guess it does make some sense. It's got to be more efficient. It has an electric motor, and it also has a small 4-cylinder motor. And in order to charge it and fill it up with gas, it's probably less than, say, a 392. But the 392 sure is cool. Okay, I'm coming off the highway. Battery is now down to 8%. Engine is shut off. And I have 2 miles of range left. And we have gone 22.7 miles total, which doesn't necessarily add up because a lot of that was on gas powered. It seems like when you run down the highway, the engine goes to gas power more than the electric power. Even if you set cruise control, it seems to stick to gas power. I think in conclusion, if you're looking for a Jeep, you want the capability of Rubicon, you have a short commute to work, say 5 or 10 miles, or 20 miles, I guess, and it's not highway miles, it's kind of slow 2-lane miles, and here's the big end, you work at a place that they allow you to charge your vehicle at work. This is actually true. There are places that the owners of the business will let their employees charge their vehicles for free. I don't know how you get away with that, because the other employees are like, hey, I have a gas vehicle, you're going to fill my gas tank up for free? Maybe there are. Maybe if you work at a gas station, they let you fill it for free. I doubt it. But the point of my story is that if all of those parameters fall in line for you, then this might be a good vehicle for you. And also if you just want to save the environment, I think that the hybrid thing is probably good. I wish it was a diesel electric hybrid instead of a gas electric hybrid. I feel like it switches to gas mode more often than not, especially when it needs instantaneous torque or for acceleration, which is odd because I think that the electric motor should be giving you that more than the gas, but for some reason this uses the gas. And let's be honest, electric and electric hybrids are all the rage. Everybody's talking about them. Love them or hate them. Jeep is like, hey, we need something in that arena, and they come up with the 4xe. Is it the best version ever? No. But the very first gas-powered car was not the best version ever, but over the years it got better and better and better. So I don't know that I would recommend a 4xe iteration number 1, but I bet 4xe iteration number 10 will be pretty good, or better at least. I don't really think that we need to get rid of gas internal combustion engines right away. I know a lot of people do, but I think that there's still a space for all of it. And if you look at the big picture, everything pollutes. Some things pollute more and some things pollute less, but everything pollutes if we're going to get in any sort of vehicle and have it transport us around. So at the end of the day, I think the point of this Jeep is to show you that you can get some cool accessories from Jeep Performance Parts and put them on a Wrangler, even if it is a 4xe. And some people are very adamant that they need a hybrid, and I'm going to say that you can still get pretty good fuel economy even on 35-inch tall tires, or electric economy, I guess you could say. We are now at 0 miles and 1% of battery charge, rolling back to the shop, and we have gone 25 miles total. Some portion of that was under gas powered and some portion of that was under electric power, but all of it was pretty efficient. We got 25.8 miles per gallon and we averaged 21.5. Not too bad for this trip. All right, that's it for this First Drives with Fred. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time.